Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tea Time. My name is JaKaTaK. It's 10:42 a.m. It's quite late, and BlizzCon is coming up, which is really cool. The F1 races are pretty much done for a little while. There's this huge gap of no Formula One racing, and it makes me very sad. But in the meantime, I've been playing a little bit of Civilization 5 instead of watching Formula One, which has been ridiculously fun. If you want the free time in your life to be sucked away in like what seems like seconds, play a little bit of Civilization 5, and maybe you will fall in love with it like I have. Seriously though, it's so fun. I love that game. Makes sense. It's a strategy game. It's turn-based, but it's a strategy game. It's really, really complex. Like, Civilization 5 is like wide in the way that StarCraft is deep, if that makes any sense. There's like tons of different races, there's tons of tech, the tech tree is ridiculously huge, all this different stuff, there's millions of things to know. Okay, there's not millions of things to know, but there's probably thousands of things to know? I don't know. What do you think? Civilization 5 players, millions of things to know or thousands? You pick. So the sandbox is going amazingly. It's awesome. I mean, that's what we want to happen, but it's sort of like I always prepare myself for things to not work out well. And we've been sort of struggling with, helping teach people how to practice better and getting good constructive dialogue going on in the various group chats that we have, and getting rid of the "oh, this is unfair" or cheese is dumb, or whatever stuff like that. And we've pretty much gotten rid of all of it. Even some of the players, actually, what's my favorite part about the sandbox is there are some players that started off with this really unhealthy sort of this is dumb, like whenever they lost, or blaming other things like Blizzard, or their opponent was hacking, or cheese, or any of that kind of stuff. When that's going on, whenever that happens, they just get mad, and whenever they lose, they get mad and complain, and they're like growing in this like really quick, because we've only been around for 4 months or so. We've only been operating for 4 months, and that's only the first batch of players. We had like 6 players. We had like 5 Zergs and a Protoss or something. Yeah, it was very Zerg heavy. It's still kind of Zerg heavy. Right now we're at 16 Terrans, 14 Protoss, and 17 Zerg. So it's a nice healthy mix now. It's a little bit top heavy in the leagues, though. A lot of Masters players, a lot of Diamond League players, handful of Grandmasters players, and a handful of very, very high level players that don't really interact with the rest of the sandbox for the most part. Sometimes they do, but mostly we're coaching them in how to train, and I'm helping them with hotkeys and builds and different things like that. It's more like they have the ideas, they know what they want to do, and I and the other players the other support teams try to help them to do it more easily. But yeah, and people I have 7, I woke up today and there's 7 emails about the sandbox in my inbox. It's so good. It's the gift that keeps on giving. People keep coming in and applying and all that kind of stuff. And that also means it's like, well, I can't just instantly inject all these people into the sandbox, otherwise we lose that quality of like high level discussions, and not high level as in like high level strategy, but high level mentality, like strong mentality, good high level maturity, things like that. So we kind of have to slowly introduce them one at a time. So it does take a long time. Actually, one of the emails just says like, hey, just checking in, did you forget about me, that kind of thing. I didn't forget about you. You're all in spreadsheets, and if you're not in a spreadsheet somewhere, I've responded to that email and said, hey, I don't think that you'll be a good fit for the program. If you still want to be in, these are the steps you need to take, right? These are the steps that you need to take to get to become a player that we're looking for. Like, read The Art of Learning, try to understand deliberate practice a little bit more thoroughly, and then explain your understanding of it in an application again, or, improve your communication skills, whatever it might be. Which gets people upset sometimes, but that's, unfortunately, that's kind of the way it has to be. I don't want to get into that. It's shitty. I hate doing it, but it's necessary for things to be good, for the quality of discussion and practice to remain at the level that it is in the sandbox. It's necessary, and it's unfortunate, but yeah. So what I want to talk about today. So I was reading. I try to read every night. I don't always, but I try to read every night. And I was reading, and I went back I was like really bored with the book that I was reading, and I went back to one of my old books. I went back to the Dark Tower series. I'm kind of in the middle of a couple of books right now, and in the book there was a receipt for my bookmark, because I don't buy bookmarks. I just like grab whatever thing I have next to me, and that's my new bookmark. Bam, piece of paper, bam, that's my bookmark. You know what I mean? But in any case, I took it out, and it was a receipt, and I was like, what receipt is this? And I checked the receipt, and it was from Nugget Markets in California. If you haven't been to Nugget Markets, man, the produce is off the hook. Seriously, like the most delicious tomatoes I've ever had are from Nugget. They're so good, and their kale is always excellent. In any case, it was from Nugget Market, and it was just sort of like, I was hit this like heavy nostalgic feeling, and I was sort of, I'm wondering if it's just me or if you all have this feeling too, but like it's this really, I think heavy is the best word, like immobilizing feeling. And sometimes it's like positive, like remembering, oh, things were so good. Remember, when, I had Chipotle and watched Dexter every day. That was a cool month in my life. And that's real, by the way. I did watch Dexter for a month and have had Chipotle pretty much every day. That was amazing, but couldn't afford it, so. And when I say I couldn't afford it, I mean like I didn't have extra money that I was saving. I spent all my saving money on Chipotle, so bad. I didn't go into debt or anything like that. But sometimes it's like terrible, like ooh, like remembering betrayal and remembering sadness and remembering like all those negative emotions as well. But either way, like either if it's this wash of like positive things and memory and emotion, or like negative emotion and memory and things, it's still the same, and that's the sort of interesting thing to me. Like whether it's positive or negative, it's still the same. It's still that same like heavy feeling. Like I feel like I can't do anything. I feel like I'm just like sitting here, and I feel like I don't want to do anything at all. Like I don't want to get up, I don't want to play any games or get any work done or anything like that. I just want to do nothing. I just want to like sit, and like this feeling is this immobilizing, like washing over me of like nostalgia, whatever it is. And it's like, it's very interesting just to me, because it's not just negative and positive. It's its own thing. Whether it's a negative emotion or a positive emotion, it's still heavy. And I'm wondering, so I crumpled up the receipt and I threw it away. And I'm wondering if that was the correct response. And people get this way about unranked and ranked ladder in StarCraft 2, right? What is the correct response? Do you remove the thing that's causing the problem? Or do you face the thing that's causing the problem and learn to overcome it? And when the opposites are presented that way, I feel like it's like, yes, of course, overcome your obstacles. That's the obvious choice. But I don't really think that's necessarily the obvious choice. So I crumpled it up and I threw it away. And so if I don't have these stimuli that push me into this nostalgia mode where I feel immobile and weighed down, then it doesn't happen. But ideally, I mean, I don't want to be that feeling to be in control of me. You know, I don't want to be weighed down by. I don't want to have to throw away. Oh man, these headphones. I had these headphones in California, so I'm gonna throw them away. It's like, whoa, I love those headphones. I love these headphones. They're so good. They're so good. So it's like I don't want that to be in control of me, but like throwing away a receipt, yeah, sure, it's not really a problem. Maybe it's a little bit of both. What do you think? How do you feel about nostalgia? Do you get that same sort of feeling? Or do you only get that feeling when it's positive things? Do you only get that feeling when it's negative things? Or does it not affect you at all? Like you feel that nostalgic feeling and you don't feel weighed down. You don't get into this feeling where you don't want to do anything at all except like lay down and stare at the ceiling. But it's frustrating because you're not getting anything done, but you also don't want to do anything. Do you get into that mode yourself? Positive or negative? And what do you think is the correct response? What do you think? What do you do to cope with the immobility of nostalgia? There's a question. There's a question. That sounds fancy enough. So we've fulfilled our fancy quota for the day. I'm going to finally fucking finish this video I've been working on for, oh god, what time is it? What are we looking at? Oh, 11 minutes. Let's just say, I'm gonna make this short, that this video has taken forever because of technical difficulties, and it is so frustrating that it's not out, and I will finish it today, and it will be out today, and it will be out, oh god, at 1 o'clock. It will be out in 2 hours. Please be out in 2 hours. That's all I ask. Thank you. See you later.